Welcome back to Daily DeFi. Today is May 31st of 2021. Hope everyone's doing well. Today we're seeing the total value locked in decentralized finance sitting at $63.97 billion. A little bit of a bounce we're seeing over the weekend with Band Protocol doing well in the 24-hour time frame, along with Ren in reserve rights, all projects that we'll be talking about in today's episode. We'll also be just looking over the top decentralized finance tokens, as well as India central bank telling banks not to rely on defeated crypto ban. So a little bit more news about this international crypto regulation. Singapore bank DBS issues 11.3 million in blockchain bonds. First, we'll kick things off with DeFi Pulse and Juicy NFTs. But even before that, pre-DeFi Pulse and Juicy NFTs, I did have to show you exactly what's going on. If you watched our video yesterday on basically my macro view over the crypto market with Bitcoin and Ethereum, I talked about this symmetrical triangle we're in that actually ended up looking a bit more like this. You could draw it you could draw this a couple of ways, but ended up looking a bit more like this. We have seen you could call this a little bit of a breakout here. Let me just extend this triangle so it looks a little bit better. Okay, so we saw this breakout here a tiny bit. We came down to retest this area. Remember, each of these lines in technical analysis is never an exact point. So just to reiterate this for anyone who doesn't understand, it's never an exact point like this. What it really looks like is this rectangle. Here we go. Okay, that's what it would actually look like, okay? And obviously it's relative, mainly what a range would look like is a little bit closer like this, but it's the same when it aligns like this. So never think about it as an exact point, because technical analysis is just another tool in the tool belt. You have to remember that. It's never the end all be all, because if you don't take into account the sentimental or fundamental factors, you're going to be lost if you only rely on the charts. But the charts is a good kind of help add-on tool. So that's basically what we're seeing in this pattern. We will most likely see a big move up or big move down on Tuesday or Wednesday, just depending on, if we go back into this pattern, consolidate a tiny bit more, then have a further dump down, in which case I'd be looking at the right around that $22,000 level. If we saw this rise up, I would be targeting this area. I'll just draw it out in a rectangle, and then maybe another time this week, that's the area I'll be targeting. So what we could see is some sort of pattern like this. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let me get to my magical brush, then we'll move on to DeFi Pulse. Here we go. Okay, so what we could see, like I said, is a little bit of a test back down here. If we confirm this breakout, we'll probably see somewhat of a push up to these levels. If we push back down into this pattern, we could see a breakdown, and that's where we would be going in this area, okay? So watch out for both those scenarios. Have proper risk management strategies in place. You could potentially trade this, but be very careful. Okay, so as I said, total value locked in DeFi is around $64 billion. Aave dominance sits at 14.88%, while DeFi Pulse Index is at 392.85, up about 6% on the daily. Top three, based on total value locked in, are Aave, Maker, and Compound. Moving on to Juicy NFTs, the daily non-fungible token volume is about $500,000, down about 57% on the daily. You can see CryptoPunks is actually number 2, where normally it's number 1. And then 2 articles from Decrypt. So first, this Singapore bank about blockchain bonds. So DBS, a multinational bank based in Singapore, has announced a new tokenized bonds. This is fascinating, guys. You have to understand the really evolution in the cryptocurrency space and the blockchain space as a whole with centralized finance is fascinating. And not a lot of people understand what's going on in this macro trend shifting from, in-person, literally centralized banks to decentralized finance. And that's why I cover this every single day on Daily DeFi. So Southeast Asia's largest bank, Singapore-based DBS, has become the latest bank to issue a bond on the blockchain. Issuers hope that couching traditional securities in a crypto framework can make them easier to trade. The process also allows for fractionalization. Cutting up bonds and turning them into fungible tokens can make unwieldy investments a little more digestible. So DBS announced today that it has priced the blockchain bonds that will power the upcoming security token offering, so STO, at around 11.3 million. So that would be considered a low cap project. But this is very interesting, this development in the space. So STOs sell cryptocurrencies that represents off-chain securities like stocks. As with ICO's initial coin offerings, they're a way to raise capital. So this is, this is so important, guys. If you're young and you're watching this and you're interested in this space, there is so much opportunity. This is truly the change from this wealth concentration in the ultra high net worth individuals throughout history to the common man, the common person. I think that's all of what decentralized finance is about. So, in brief, with this next article, the Reserve Bank of India told banks not to rely on an old circular that the Supreme Court debunked last year. The circular, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, said that banks shouldn't work with crypto exchanges. Indian crypto executives told Decrypt that today's notice is unlikely to convince major banks to work with them. India's central bank has asked banks not to cite its 2018 circular and barred them from dealing with crypto companies, and reminded banks that the country's Supreme Court quashed the ban last year. So in April of 2018, circular, the Reserve Bank of India said that the banks couldn't deal with any individual or businesses, entities dealing with settling virtual currencies. So in March, India's Supreme Court ruled that the central bank's circular carried no weight in that banks could transact with crypto companies if they so wished. Despite the ruling, major Indian banks continued to bar crypto exchanges. So this is really just lame. Honestly, I've talked about many times on this channel how, countries trying to move against decentralized finance is like trying to fight water. It's pretty dang hard to fight water. Water's going to be there no matter what. So, the thing about decentralized networks, decentralized applications is there's no one single point of failure. It's like saying that you can take out a beehive by just singling out one bee and killing the bee. No. You would have to actually take out the beehive itself if you wanted to do it. And since we're using decentralized applications, this really isn't possible. So for example, with Bitcoin, the really only way to turn down the network completely, turn it off completely, it doesn't matter if all the governments in the world banned it, it would be going around and destroying every single computer on Earth. Because as long as there's a computer on Earth, and as long as you have a satellite connection or an internet connection, which you can do with decentralized protocols like, I'm drawing a blank on the name, I always blank on it. I think it's called Helium, which is a decentralized Wi-Fi router network, which I might do a video on. You can access the network. So moving on, RSR tokens. I was going to show you this. So just the top projects in the space, nothing's up that high. They're all up around like 5 to 7%. But RSR, Ren, and Band are. So RSR sits at 3.8 cents, up about 15% on the daily. You saw this massive retracement down. I'm very bullish long term on RSR. I think this bull run we probably could see maybe a 2 to 3x from these previous highs. So I would say around 30 cents is where I'm looking at for RSR. For Ren, ticker symbol REN, ranked number 108. We're at 52 cents currently, up about 13% on the daily. We saw this kind of a descending wedge from these highs up here. Now could be an interesting opportunity to get in if you think this bull run is continuing, which I do. Also, Band Protocol, ticker symbol BAND, retraced to pretty close to these lows here at $4.20. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, button all, invest global, and until next time.